Hi guys, Simon Drizelian here, voice of reason. So let's continue with some parts of the story, huh? Now this is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is real. Just a story, So let's look at the four elements. You see, the people that are really in charge, there's a reason why they are illumined, enlightened, if you like, because they're very smart. Do not underestimate these people in this story. There are four elements which correspond to the north, east, south and west, which is fire, earth, air and water. And together, these elements are affected by the climate. Now you've got to realize as well that the secret is who affects the climate, because the climate itself is not arbitrary. It doesn't just happen. Used to happen with outside forces, but the illumined ones in this story have found a way to change the elements. It used to be called alchemy, and where it first started was in a place called Kem. And Kem means the Black Land. And Kem, in this story, would be where you would perceive Egypt to be. And they called it the Black Land because of the silt that came from the river twice a day. Had two inundations. And Al means from, so Al-Chem, alchemy, the ability to manipulate matter. So let's have a look at the four elements and how they could be manipulated, for instance. So the lower element is that of earth. You can change the earth. It's all molecules after all. Basic chemistry. Get that? Chem. It's all from there. So the basic chemistry means that if you create a catalyst, you can actually change the composition of compounds, correct? So if you were to alter the molecules and make them speed up faster, they would change. That's what chemistry is. So imagine that you had a machine in this story. Perhaps, I don't know, perhaps in somewhere way, way away. I mean, God, heaven forbid, it could be somewhere like Alaska, for instance. In that G place, where the fallen angels play the harp. And if you know, you know. So these harp players bounce this energy off of the ionosphere, in this story of course, because it's for entertainment purposes only. And that creates a vibration which quickens the molecules of the earth and creates what we call an earthquake. Earthquakes are far better than things that go boom, because it looks like that the earth is doing it, or it's an act of God. But the thing with earthquakes is there's very little evidence afterwards, because you've got all the clearing up to do. And with the clearing up, it clears up the evidence. Now, the angels that are playing this harp, you can always tell when the earthquakes are to do with the fallen, because they come out at 6.3. 6.3 was the Christchurch earthquake, I seem to remember. Epicenter was right on the Air Force base. Interesting that. 6.3 was also in the Air Force base at Incirlik in Turkey. 6.3 was also in the largest missile base in Iran. Strange though, isn't it? Bizarre even. that these earthquakes could happen just so quickly, without any preparation. Become so devastating, so almost as if the gods decided to create an act of gods, not an act of God. So I wonder whether a number of earthquakes at 6.3 could trigger a big one. Perhaps in the northwest of the country. Perhaps west of the 5. That's where it may happen in this story anyway. But of course, it's just speculation. But it will create a bit of a crisis. And what if, heaven forbid, someone would create such an earthquake around Yellowstone? That wouldn't be too much fun. It would actually may even be the downfall of a certain nation. But that would fit the plan of some of these dark angels, you know? Anyway, so that's Earth. So the next one is water. You can manipulate water. You manipulate water by manipulating air. It's called hurricanes, really. Now, where have we seen that before? Oh yeah, that's right. Because they seem to call all of these hurricanes after women. There was an old joke. It said, why do hurricanes, why are they always named after women? It's because when they start off, they're all hot and wet. And when they go, they take the car and the house. I didn't make that joke up, all right? And for equity purposes, they've started calling them men as well. So there you go. And we saw this with Katrina, Sandy, Helen. And isn't it interesting how they all seem to be massively targeted? Just a coincidence. Just an absolute coincidence. Because what it does, and the main reason for this is to clear land in this story and to establish compliance. See who does what they're told. That's the metrics that they measure, not how much destruction. Because they can always just buy that destroyed property for pennies on the dollar. No one ever goes back to where that is. It's never the same. So as we can see, with earth and water, you can actually do what bombs just cannot do. You can do what wars cannot do. And guess what? The fallen go, do you know, we can blame it on the climate. Yay! Because everyone believes that. We manipulate the climate and then we blame it on the climate that created, yeah, right, okay, that will do. People will buy that. And we can increase taxes on everything and just blame it on climate and say you're doing this because of the planet. Who wouldn't believe that? Who wouldn't buy into that? Because to say that you don't, to absolutely deny that change within the climate, well, you'd get a hard time for that, wouldn't you? Because it makes you seem that you're denying science, really. But believe me, this science, oh yeah, there's science. But it's active science, not passive science. So there we are. First story for today. Earth and water. Next up, fire and air. Catch you soon. Simon Trezelyan. Repost, tell the story. Get the message out. I am merely the messenger. This is merely a story. This is merely to entertain you. Are you not entertained?